Hey there, Pisces. Welcome. Sorry, just wanted to make sure we're actually recording here. I've done that before. But anyway, welcome to your reading for the week of September 15th. You have this card that says pressure. It says be aware of how family influences and social pressures are influencing your career choices. You have this envision card. It says, do you know exactly what you want and are you acting consistently towards achieving it? Damn, Pisces, that's a statement for you right there. It says maintain a clear vision of what you are calling forth and you will be unstoppable. So Pisces, definitely true for you right now. Both of those cards, really. And you might not even be feeling pressure from your family. Honestly, I think Pisces could be feeling pressure from society, or just like life in general at the moment. But is this bad? No, I don't think so at the moment. It can be, but I feel that really what Pisces needs to do is kind of like hold their own vision, star card for sure. I think that if you're, Pisces, that if you're trying to like compare yourself to others or, if you're thinking that your ideas have to make sense right now, for example, then you are going to have a hard time. I think the thing for Pisces that I've been telling you for like a year now is that there is nothing to compare like what you're going to be doing in your life to. So because you are the example, Pisces, I think what Pisces needs to realize is that they are the one that other people will use as inspiration, but you have to become the inspiration first, right? And so I feel that's like what Pisces is doing, and that can be a little challenging for sure because you might not know what to do. And again, I also think that your ideas, like the ideas of what to do with your life right now, you might be thinking like, oh, this won't work, or I can't, there's too much pressure, I can't do this, but you actually can't. So, there you go. But in your current general energies for this first row, here you have the Six of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Hierophant. The Six of Pentacles is about taking those small steps. Great time for small steps in progress, especially with the, Saturn retrograding in your sign. I'm telling you right now, Saturn retrograde, it's not like necessarily, like I wouldn't say it's great, but I also feel that there are some like good benefits to it, especially because it's retrograding in Pisces, right? And so, some of the good parts of it, I feel for Pisces are that, this Six of Pentacles just wants us to take a couple little steps towards something that we are trying to create or something that we're trying to do in our lives. But, we just have to kind of like, but we also have to be consistent, right? Not only with Saturn, but also Six of Pentacles. So we have to, if we want to build something, we basically have to tell universe, hey, universe, I want to build this, business or relationship or whatever, and this is what I'm willing to do to make it happen, right? And, it could be anything. It could be any steps that you're willing to take, but you have to say, I'm going to do this every single day, And if you do that and you're consistent, then things will go very well, Pisces. You have the Devil. I do feel like there's some bad habits that you could be getting rid of. Again, this is not a bad thing, Pisces, especially with the eclipse coming up on September 21st in Virgo. A great time for Pisces to get to the bottom of any bad habits or, anything that could be affecting your health or otherwise, it could be a great time for that. I do feel like, and again, again, the Devil doesn't have to be super dramatic, right? It could just be things that are controlling you, and it could be anything. It could be like overthinking, for example. It could be the Devil. It could be just something that steals your energy. And I feel a lot of you, it's, especially with Saturn retrograde, Saturn is basically the Devil, although, technically the Devil is Saturn in Capricorn, but, still, I would say that, this could be kind of representing Saturn's energy and influence over your life at this time because, again, you've had Saturn in your sign for quite a while, almost 3 years, and Saturn will be officially leaving Pisces around your birth time. So at the end of February, basically, is when Saturn officially moves back into Aries. And, I think that, you're kind of getting this final little kiss and a hug from Saturn, right? You're getting that final goodbye right now until, basically 30 years from now. And so, right now, it's like is your chance to kind of become, to embrace that unstoppable energy. That card says you will be unstoppable. But I think you have to become unstoppable, literally. You know what I mean? It's like the reading itself isn't saying you are unstoppable, although I believe you are. I always say, Pisces to me is like the little engine that could. It's like Pisces really never gives up on things. I've never met it's funny to me when I hear people describe Pisces and they're just like so wrong. Number one. Number two, it's like every Pisces I've ever met, it's like when they want something and they set their mind to it, they definitely will get it, And so and no matter what. And so I think Pisces is very much like needing to embrace that part of themselves. And but the thing, what I'm babbling on about here, sorry, is the Empress energy. The Empress says you have to feed that part of yourself. You have to nurture that unstoppable energy to become unstoppable, and that's what I would do. You have the Hierophant again, societal rules, Neptune and Pisces. Neptune is also going to be retrograding into Pisces in October, and it is retrograde right now. It's just not in Pisces yet. And so the trick for Pisces is to break free from traditional belief. Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. Traditional beliefs are just things that you've believed always because, whether they're true or not, right? And, I think the challenge is beliefs about yourself. Pisces, I think, again, I encourage you to brainwash yourself, into being more positive nowadays, because I think it's probably one of the best things you can do to become successful in the near future, and that's what I would focus on with the Hierophant. I would also say that, again, Hierophant could be like society saying, like, you have to fit inside this box. Definitely, I would say for the rest of your life, based off the astrology coming up and what we're dealing with, Pluto and Aquarius in your 12th, all this stuff, you definitely are one of the signs that I think needs to, be like about 30 miles away from the box, right? That's how far away from inside the box you need to be. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Three of Cups. A great time for friendship for Pisces, making new friends and things like that. I mean, for weeks I've been telling you to go do something in public. I joined a class a couple months ago that I take every single Monday and Tuesday now, and so I'm doing it twice a week now. Met so many great people. And again, like I say, I hate when one of my biggest pet peeves is when people say, do as I say, not as I do. I've always hated that. So again, I actually do these things. I work with the energy. If I can do it, you can do it. And I would get out there, meet new people. There are just so many benefits that you just won't even see. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many things other than just friendship that you could get out of this right now, just based off your astrology. So, I would encourage you to do something with people. With the Devil, you have the Five of Wands, inner conflict. I'm telling you right now, the Devil, I feel, is inner conflict for Pisces. I felt it with that pressure card at the beginning of the reading. Is it pressure, Pisces? I'm not sure. Is it pressure or is it like expectations? Maybe that's a better word to use for you with that pressure card, because that's what it feels like to me. It feels like you have, like, I think you have a lot of great ideas for life right now, your life, but it's like you could be, if you're not getting started, it could be because you're like, this can't work. But it could work for you. And I feel like that is the pressure or the thing that you need to overcome. With the Hierophant, you have the Empress. Yes, definitely. So we have the Empress twice here. Definitely giving off a glow up vibe here, because the Empress and the Star is almost a glow up. For me to say a reading is a glow up reading, I need the Empress, the Star, and the Sun. All three cards together, right? But this is pretty close, so you could definitely be working on a glow up. You could be working on, improving yourself or improving your life. I definitely recommend it at this time. Again, with that Virgo energy, it's an excellent time for you to, focus on these things to improve your health. The other problem is Pluto retrograde. If you don't, the thing with Pluto retrograde for Pisces as well, that's kind of funny, especially being in your 12th house, is that, Pluto, can bring up, retrograde can bring up hidden issues. So it's like, but it's not like, Pluto isn't necessarily a jerk. So it's like, if you're taking care of yourself, if you're, being good to yourself and everything, then things will be fine. It only brings up these issues if you're not taking care of them, right? So, again, a lot of you are kind of, I think, being triggered to work on yourselves. And the Empress is a great card for nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, and all that other good stuff. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this beautiful Uncaging card and this Feeling the World card. Yeah, I do feel you could be opening up your heart. Again, it's definitely a time for Pisces to have true love, if you want love, for example. But this, one thing that's kind of funny about it is I feel a lot of Pisces could actually be deciding that they don't want love as well. So, it's like one of those things where the reading, I don't think, is saying you have to have love, or I don't think the energy is saying this either. I think Pisces is just getting serious about what they want, right? And so again, you could be opening up your heart to different things. It doesn't have to be necessarily a person, but I do feel like you're opening up to what you want. The Feeling the World card, again, Pisces is very, has a lot of empathy, and it definitely is very intuitive. So number one, if you're feeling the world too much, I would make sure you're putting up boundaries with yourself. Like, do grounding exercises, clear your energy, things like that. There's a million of different exercises on YouTube that you can do to protect your energy, right? So I would look into those, like grounding exercises, things like that. You have the Justice card, the Star, and the Nine of Wands. The thing yesterday, I'm recording this video on September 8th. On the 7th, we had the Pisces eclipse, so this will be published on the 9th. And but again, eclipse energy can last for like 6 months, and we are in a series of Pisces Virgo eclipses until 2027. And so we will be probably revisiting this energy multiple times. But what I would say is that there is kind of like some justice for Pisces. Like some Pisces could be experiencing justice, definitely with the Pisces eclipse. There's something about it, I think, that, if someone did you dirty or something has happened to you recently, you could be getting some justice from that situation. I would also encourage you to find more balance in your life in general. I do think Pisces is trying to discover more balance in life. Like, you know what I mean? It's like not just, I think maybe for many years Pisces has like only worked and then not had relationships. But then it's like maybe sometimes you have relationships and then you don't have money. It's like, so you're balancing those things, multiple things in your life, not just love and money, but everything. You have the Star, which is great. The Star can represent healing, which again, it's an excellent time for you to heal and, to heal whatever parts of yourself that you want. I would definitely encourage you to go deep on something. Like, again, something that you are thinking isn't going to work. I don't know, that keeps popping into my head for you, Pisces, where if you have like an idea of like to start a business or to, do anything with your life, it's like you might be thinking that it's not going to work, but I actually think it is. But the thing about the Star is she's just kind of like dipping her toes in the water. And so the whole point of the card is that she needs to make the full commitment to something. She can't just skim the surface. Like it's not going to work if she does that. But if she goes all in, all the way, then she will be successful. And I feel this is encouraging you to, kind of go all the way. You have the Nine of Wands. I feel a lot of you are definitely probably revisiting many things from the past. The thing about Pisces is I feel that you have learned many lessons. You've worn many hats over the years in your life. Doesn't matter how old you are. I think you've worn many hats. Now is a time for Pisces to kind of, like all those, you're putting all the things you learned. It's like everything is adding up. Remember, I've said to you before that it's like Pisces is in a period of connecting the dots where all the experiences, maybe you're starting to understand like what it's all adding up to, the big picture. Star is a big picture card. And so I feel a lot of you are, the big picture is finally starting to come together, which is good. With the Justice card, you have the Seven of Cups. Still a little bit confusing. I think you're confusing yourself, really. It's like you know what to do, but you could be saying you're confused, but you're really not. And it's like you know what to do. That's the feeling I get off of this card, but you're also saying you're confused. So I feel some of you, maybe it's just that simple. Maybe you just need to change your words and say, I am clear, right? So maybe I would just change it. With the Star card, you have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups can be a card of innocence and nostalgia. You have the Judgment card as well. Again, I don't think this is a person coming back from the past, although I would be careful of that with the Devil. These two eclipses can bring people back from the past as well. But what I would say is that really I feel that, again, you're connecting the dots. You have the Judgment card. It's like which can also represent something coming back from the past. So I feel a lot of you are kind of like, again, connecting dots based off of things that you've done in the past. And this could be adding up to your true purpose with the Judgment card, which is great. And I feel a lot of you could be revisiting that. I do feel like some of you could be feeling a little bit nostalgic right now about, this, that, or the other thing in your life. But I feel, the universe is trying to get Pisces to create new experiences. And, there's like a certain level of maturity here that is popping into my head. And I think I said this to you in your last reading as well, if I'm not mistaken. But it's kind of like time for Pisces to mature in some area of their life. So it's like there might be things you're missing from the past, but at the same time, you're being led to kind of grow up, but not like in a bad way. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Fool. Yes, there is no, this is a rip the Band-Aid off reading, is what I want to say. You just have to take the leap of faith. If you're thinking about doing something, you're just going to have to start and do it and commit to it. And you can't commit to it for a week either, Pisces. You have to commit to it for, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Saturn, right? Saturn, I keep wanting to say Saturn's hug and a kiss to you, right? Is that you now have to do things that you are actually committed to. Saturn is time, Saturn rewards discipline. And even though Saturn is leaving your sign next year, at the beginning of next year, it doesn't matter. You still have time to pick like one thing that you're going to be dedicated to, right? And so dedication is the trick for Pisces for the next many years, right? Things you start now will last for a very long time. That is the secret. I think the secret for Pisces also is it doesn't really matter what you start right now, because the journey, it's the journey. It's like the universe is trying to get you to just settle into a process, right? And if you do that, you will be very successful. And let's say you have 3 ideas, right? I am this type of person as well, where I have a million ideas and I never get started on any of them. But the secret right now is, like, let's say you have 3 ideas. If you just get started on one, but let's say number 3 is the one that would actually work for you. If you just get started on number 1, then, eventually you will be led to number 3. And I know that sounds weird, but, again, eventually that's what will happen, is that you will be led to the right one, but you just have to pick one and get started, is kind of the energy I feel for Pisces, right? Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this viewpoints card and this force card as well. We are in a time of viewpoints for Pisces for sure. Uranus and Gemini, right, in your 4th house. 4th house is like home and family, and there definitely could be changes in your home. There will be changes in your home and all this other stuff as well. Like literally, it's funny that literally the day, almost to the day that Uranus went into Gemini, my brother told me that he was moving out, right? And now he has moved out. So again, there could be changes in the home, things like that going on. There will be a lot of changes in the home. You could feel like you want to make changes in the home, all that other stuff. But I also feel Uranus and Gemini will, it's your 4th house is your foundation. It is the root of your chart, is your 4th house. And so, I just feel that there could be just a lot of changes going on for you. Uranus and Gemini is very electric. And it rewards like electric ideas and things like that. But I would be thinking electricity. I literally, have ordered some lights to put around my house and stuff, just to mix it up, make it look different, right? Because of Uranus and Gemini. It's like, that might sound stupid, but literally Uranus and Gemini will reward you for doing stupid things like that, right? The other thing is that, like I said, anything that is a root belief in yourself because of the 4th house, you could be changing a lot of beliefs about yourself, about your security, about your stability, about, pretty much anything. And again, you could have a lot of, beliefs about this. I'll tell you a random side note here as well. It's like, I have this big house that I just don't need now, because no one else lives with me, right? And I've been thinking, wouldn't it be cool to just get an apartment and then I live out at Airbnbs for like the next couple of years and figure out where, just kind of travel around. So I don't know. That's maybe what I'm going to do, right? Which would be a very Uranus and Gemini thing to do. And so maybe you're thinking about doing that. Something like that. Don't be surprised. You have the Judgment card, the Page of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. The Judgment card can be a wake-up call in discovering your purpose. I do feel a lot of you could be discovering your purpose, or kind of like understanding your purpose on a deeper level. And I think it'll be good for you here, Pisces. Anything you're doing to kind of like understand your purpose. I feel there is a call to your purpose, but these people are still holding on a little bit to their old life right here. They're standing in these coffins. It's like their arms wide open, right? Like the Creed song, arms wide open, like willing to embrace a new reality. But at the same time, they're still kind of like a little bit nervous about leaving behind something from the past, right? And so a lot of Pisces are definitely feeling this. This fits in very well with your astrology. But the faster you step into the new reality, the better. I think if you are having fears, that education is the easiest solution. Page of Pentacles. Usually we fear things we don't understand, right? So if we learn about the things that we're afraid of, we can overcome those fears more quickly. Page of Pentacles is the card of studiousness. Page of Pentacles wants you to just educate yourself, right? And so there's no shame in being afraid of this, that, or the other thing. But again, I think, educating yourself on the things that you could be potentially afraid of, you might discover that there's really no reason to be afraid. The other thing I would say to you, Pisces, is that I feel you're probably underestimating yourself a lot. Again, I think that you could be thinking that the requirement to be successful is much higher. I find that some people are doing this right now. I don't know why. There's really nothing, maybe Saturn and Pisces, sure, but I don't know. There's really nothing going on that I think that looking at the astrology, that I can say is causing this. But, it just seems to me like people are kind of like underestimating themselves a little bit too much. And I feel you need to overestimate yourself here. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn, by the way. You have a lot of Earth here. If you want love, definitely could be an Earth sign. Page of Pentacles, could be any Earth sign. You have Taurus with the Hierophant and the Empress, so I don't know. There you go. I'm also getting Libra for some reason. Oh, you have the Justice card. Libra and Aquarius, could be air. It could be like a person who has air in their chart. I wouldn't say it is an air sign, but it could be like a person who has like Libra in a placement or something. Or they could be Venus ruled, with the Empress showing up here. So it could be love that you're attracting here. The Queen of Pentacles is also about resources. As I said, it's time for Pisces. I've said this many times in the past. It's time for Pisces to make money. And this is not from a position of greed or, materialism or anything like that. Again, if you're one of those people who's going to leave a comment like it's not about the money, number one, have fun living under a bridge. Number two, donate it, right? There's no excuse. The energy, this is what I always say to those people that say that. First off, BS, number one. Number two, again, yeah, sure, maybe it's not about the money, but if you truly don't enjoy money, then give it all away, right? There's a lot of energy where Pisces could make a lot of money. So it's like, if that's how you feel about money, then you should be out there working your ass off so that you can give it all away. And those people never respond when I say that. They never respond. Why? Because they're liars. That's why, right? And because they're probably lazy as well. But, again, if that's truly how you feel, that's what you should be doing. And Queen of Pentacles wants you to be resourceful. So definitely a time of resourcefulness, but, I think Pisces has an amazing opportunity for the next several years to become very successful. And here you go. With the Judgment card, you have the Ace of Pentacles. There's a very abundant opportunity that's waiting for you. It's not going to magically happen either, as I always say, Pisces. But, again, whatever you're thinking about doing, I do feel that the beauty of Uranus and Gemini for you is going to be that you will be getting some good ideas. And so you need to write down those ideas. And those ideas could lead to a lot of abundance. The thing about the Ace of Pentacles is it's an opportunity that has potential. Potential means nothing. Potential means what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So, a lot of you with the great thing here, I would be paying attention with this Judgment card because you really could be getting a lot of inspirations, this week. You could be getting an inspiration. It could be like a genius idea, but you really need to make sure to capture it and not let it go. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Six Wands. You are meant to be seen, for sure. You have the Star right next to this. Both cards of recognition. Could be, an achievement or some recognition that's coming in for you, which is great. With the Queen of here, you can't make this up. I knew that was talking about love. I knew it with that Queen of Pentacles. So I'm telling you right now, someone could be telling you that they admire you, that they're interested in you. And, I think it would be a good thing here, Pisces. I think that sometimes Pisces, I don't know about you, Pisces, but sometimes I think Pisces is a little bit attracted to the bad boy or the bad girl, right? Or, the goth chicks, right? If you're me, maybe, right? But this person could be different, This person could be, it's like, I don't know. They could be a little bit, maybe you think they're good, like a little bit of a goody two-shoes or something like that. But, I don't know. I would like it's popping into my head that there could be a person that you should give a chance. I'm not telling you what to do. Of course not. You can do whatever you want. But, you might be meeting a person, you might think you might be like, this person's a little bit too, domestic for my liking or whatever. But, I feel that you should, I think you would be surprised. I'll say that. That's what I'm getting intuitively. Anyway, next in the area of the good stuff, you have this light. You cannot make this up. It says light space. It says enlightenment, purity, insight, and life. I literally just ordered lights, like I said, that I'm putting around to light some places up in here, so I don't live in a dark bat cave, right? And there you go. I think you need to add light to your space. It's crazy that I literally said that. You have a solutions card. It says insight, creativity, and problem solving. I do feel you could be getting some insights on how to solve some problems or challenges that you've been dealing with. Ace of Pentacles, judgment. Again, it's like a wake-up call, a sudden understanding. So, I see some good things coming in there. You have the Empress, the Five of Swords, and the Two of Swords. Empress can be abundance coming in for you. So again, I do feel there could be a lot of abundance coming in for you, Pisces, that you are clearly creating. If you want love, I would put yourself out there. You could be very attractive at this time, getting a lot of attention. So, that's what I would do with the Empress, is get out there. I also feel that, dedicated work on something would probably increase your abundance more than you think, and it might just like surprise you. So I would put some dedicated work into a process, something that you're working on. You have the Five of Swords, again, coming up in the good stuff, so definitely a good time to take a risk, definitely a good time to like put yourself out there and try new things. So that's what I would do here. Take a risk, make it happen, see what happens. Kind of, this could be in any area of your life. The Five of Swords also say, like, again, there is an element of this reading that is saying don't be afraid of change, and get comfortable in new realities. You have the Two of Swords, same thing. Again, I think that some of you, if you're attracted to love, it's like you could be thinking this or that. Like you could be thinking a person is this or that, but really they're like this over here. It popped into my head. I don't know. I can't control the messages I get on these cards, but I got like goody two-shoes off of this Queen of Pentacles, Page of Cups, I always make the joke that Pisces is nasty. Again, and I get Pisces that comment that like, what am I talking about? I'm like, well, you're clearly not a Pisces, because Pisces is nasty. Every Pisces I've ever met. So there you go. And most of you agree. So I think I'm right. But anyway, I feel like this person, they might come off as a goody two shoes, but you never know. They might just be able to fulfill you in other ways. Let's put it that way, Pisces. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. With the Empress, you have the Page of Pentacles. Again, definitely could be a new person coming in for you. Page of Pentacles can start as communication, so, this could be a person that's communicating with you or whatever. With the Five of Swords, you have two cards. This card wants to come out, but the Judgment card flipped when I pulled this, so we'll take both. You already have the Judgment card anyway. But Eight of Cups is walking away from things that no longer serve you. So, again, Eight of Cups is the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it, and since we're in eclipse season, you definitely could be walking away from one thing and starting something new. And obviously it's a good thing. It's coming up in the good stuff, right? So don't be afraid if you're being called to something, to do something completely new this week. With the Two of Swords, you have the Magician. Yes, you are attracting things into your life here. And so I feel you are very good at like the law of attraction at this time. I always pull the card that he's pointing to, and you have this Shining Through card. So there could be like a lot of attention coming in for you, I feel, Pisces. I also feel that you could be standing out. I feel also here with this Shining Through card that if you're working on anything, business, project, something like that, that there could be like a lot of opportunities for you. Like I feel like, if you have a lot of ideas, that there will be one thing that stands out. You have this Rooster. It says, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. You have several cards here that basically say the same thing. I might pull you an extra couple of cards because they're basically all saying the same thing. But I would definitely be careful of people right now that are toxic. You have this Mice card. It says, discord among family or friends. Again, I would be careful if you live with people to be careful of that Uranus and Gemini energy. It's not necessarily bad, but it's like unpredictable. And people can, if you live with other people, they can be more unpredictable. So, something to keep an eye on. You have this Flute card. It says disappointment in a friend or a lover. I feel like Pisces has had many disappointments in love. I mean, that's the whole point of your love story up until this point, is that there have been disappointments, but they all probably taught you something. And now, I think you are not going to be disappointed. Again, it's an amazing time for love. You have this January card and this Rat card. It says someone working against you behind your back. Now, this is definitely something that could be exposed about with eclipses, Eclipses can expose things like this, especially for you. The 12th house is the house of like hidden enemies and things like that. So, what I would say is it wouldn't surprise me if something like this was being exposed. But again, eclipses, we have to remember that we don't have to worry. Eclipses are like a 1-2 punch. It's like something uncomfortable can be exposed, but it always gets corrected, at the same time, and something good always comes out of it with eclipses. So I wouldn't worry about this at all. Now you have this Tower. It says solid foundation, success with effort. The whole entire reading says dedication. That should be your keyword here, Pisces. But this looks really good. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.